Title: The Silent Lot. I've been a long-haul trucker for over a decade, driven every major interstate in the lower 48. I'm not the type to scare easy. You spend enough nights on the road, and you get used to weird sounds, weird people, weird feelings. But nothing ever hit me like what happened outside Flagstaff, Arizona. There's this pull-off we sometimes use when the rest stops are full. No official signage, just a gravel patch near an old rock quarry. We call it the Silent Lot. I'd never parked there before, but it was almost midnight. My eyes were fighting to stay open, and the next stop was still 50 miles off. So I figured, what the hell? When I pulled in, the first thing I noticed was a silence. No wind, no crickets, no engine cooling clicks. Just a stillness, like the air itself was holding its breath. I chalked it up to being tired, parked, killed the engine, and locked up. Slid into the sleeper with my rifle nearby. Like always, it was cold for October, bone deep. Around 2:13 a.m., I woke up. No alarm, no noise, just that prickly feeling you get when someone's watching you. I sat up, checked the side mirrors. That's when I saw it. A figure, just barely in my headlight spill, standing between the cornflower weeds and gravel, still as a post. No reflective gear, no flashlight, just standing. At first, I thought maybe it was another trucker taking a leak or looking for help. I cracked the window an inch. "Hey, you good?" No answer. I blinked and it was gone. I mean gone. No footsteps, no running, no crunch of gravel, just gone. I stayed awake after that, heart thudding, watching shadows crawl across the lot. Eventually, I nodded off again. Big mistake. Next morning, I climb into the driver's seat, and that's when I see them. Handprints all over the glass, smudged like greasy fingerprints on every window. Passenger side, rear cab, even the windshield inside. I hadn't unlocked the cab all night. I got out and checked the ground. No footprints in the gravel, but tire marks, long, looping tire tracks, leading into the woods past the quarry, but none coming out. I reported it at the next stop. The guy behind the counter just shook his head and said, "You parked at the quarry?" I nodded. "Yeah." He said, "Man, I wouldn't go back. That place, things disappear out there. Rigs, people. It's been like that since the 80s. I asked if anyone had looked into it. He said, they don't find bodies, just abandoned trucks with the keys still in the ignition. A few days later, I checked my dash cam footage. Most of it was black. But at exactly 2:13 a.m., the camera glitched, then showed static, then a single frame. A man's face, inches from the lens. Eyes wide, mouth open like he was screaming. No one I recognized. I've never parked in that lot again. But sometimes, at exactly 2:13 a.m., my CB radio crackles on its own. And once, I swear to you, it said my name. Just waiting. Title: The Abandoned Pickup. This happened in 2016, out in the Mojave Desert stretch. Dead flat, no lights for miles, just a long black ribbon of highway and a sky full of stars. It was just past 1 a.m., and I was hauling a refrigerated load eastbound. I'd driven that route dozens of times, but that night felt different. I don't know how to explain it, just wrong. About 20 miles out of Barstow, I saw something on the shoulder. A truck, small, old, one of those 1980s pickups. Rusted panels, blinkers flashing, nobody in sight. I slowed down, against my better judgment. I pulled over a few yards behind it. The driver's door was open, keys gone. I walked up, hand near my belt in case something was off. I called out, "You all right?" Silence. Inside, the truck was empty, but it didn't feel abandoned. The glove box was open, papers scattered. On the floor, I saw an old 8mm camcorder, still running, battery light flashing. I picked it up, just static at first, then it jumped to footage. A road, this road, desert stretching on both sides. Then my truck, same load, same cab, passing the pickup like it already happened. But I hadn't passed it yet. I had just stopped, and then the screen glitched and froze on a frame, the side of my rig. In the reflection, something stood by the back doors. Small, human-sized, but too thin. I put the camera down and stepped back, and that's when I saw it. A child's shoe in the bed of the truck. Just one. Tiny, torn, and wet. I turned around, went straight for my rig. As I climbed in, my CB radio came to life. Static, then a voice. Not deep, a child's voice. Don't leave yet. You forgot something. I floored it. Didn't even check my mirrors. Just drove like hell. 2 hours later, I pulled into a way station and tried to explain what I saw. The officer looked bored, said there were no reports of a pickup on the shoulder. The next day, I went back with sheriff's deputy. No truck, no tire marks, no shoe, just dry sand. But that night, back in my cab, I noticed something taped to the inside of my rear window. A Polaroid. It showed me, sitting in the driver's seat, taken from behind. I was alone, except in the photo, a hand was resting on my shoulder. No face, just a hand. I've never driven that route again. But 3 months later, I got an envelope in the mail. No return address. Inside, another Polaroid. Same hand, same pose. Only this time, I was asleep. Title: The Road Beyond Karuma. I've driven cargo across East Africa for almost 12 years. Uganda, Kenya, Tanzania, Rwanda, you name it. Roads full of potholes, dust, and sometimes bandits. But nothing prepared me for what I saw near Karuma Falls. It was late August. I had a delivery of fertilizer bound for Gulu. The sun was setting behind me as I rumbled north in my old Mercedes flatbed, the kind that grumbles like an old lion. Karuma Bridge was still 80 kilometers out when my GPS started glitching, froze, then flashed rerouting. Over and over again, cell signal dropped. Classic rural blackout. I didn't panic. I knew the region well enough to navigate by memory. At least, I thought I did. About an hour after dark, I hit a detour sign. Road closed. Use alternate route. There was no alternate route. Not officially. But next to the sign was a dirt track leading off into the bush. I figured it was one of those temporary paths made by road crews or locals. The map still showed I was moving toward Gulu, just a bit east. So I took it. Bad move. The track narrowed the deeper I went. Trees pressed close. No lights. No sound but insects in the low groan of my tires grinding red dirt. Then, out of nowhere, my headlights caught something. A wooden structure, like a small archway across the road, tied with bark rope and adorned with bones, feathers, dried leaves. Hanging from the center was a rusted metal bowl filled with what looked like old blood. I braked hard. My heart thumped. It looked like something out of a horror movie. I figured it was just a local shrine, maybe a cultural marker. Some areas still observe traditional beliefs. I respected that. I wasn't here to offend. I got out slowly to move the structure off the road. But as I got closer, I noticed the bowl was still warm. Then I heard it. Drums. Distant, faint, but rhythmic, and growing louder. Goosebumps crawled across my arms. I looked back at my truck, debating whether to reverse and find another way. Then the trees on the left glowed with flickering orange light. Firelight. I crouched down behind the shrine, peering through the brush. Figures moved between the trees. About a dozen, all cloaked in black. Some wore animal skulls as masks. Others had their faces painted bone white. They walked slowly in a circle around something. At first, I couldn't tell what it was. Then I saw her, a woman, kneeling, barely clothed, her head shaved. She was muttering something, chanting. Maybe in front of her, a large wooden post stood planted in the ground, surrounded by chalk symbols I didn't recognize. At the base of the post, bowls of blood, animal parts, herbs. One of the masked figures raised a long, curved knife. I stepped back, horrified. The wind shifted, and the drum stopped. In dead silence, one of them turned and looked right at me. Or maybe they heard something. But every head turned toward the bush where I hid. I didn't wait. I bolted back to the truck, jumped in, fired it up, and floored it. The road twisted sharply, but I didn't slow down. My tires sprayed dirt. Branches scraped both sides. I didn't care. Then, thump, the engine died. Dead. No power steering. No lights. Just darkness. I reached for my flashlight and rifle. Before I could open the door, I heard something. Not footsteps. Breathing. Behind me. I spun around with the flashlight and saw nothing. The cab was empty, but there were wet prints on the inside of the windshield. Human. Bare. I opened the door and ran into the bush. I didn't even know which direction. I just ran. Branches cut my arms. My lungs burned, but I didn't stop. Eventually, I collapsed in a clearing. The sky was dim. Stars overhead. No fire. No drums. Just silence. Then, I heard singing. Soft. Female. A lullaby in a language I didn't know. It was coming from behind a termite mound. I froze. The lullaby stopped, and a voice said, "You saw too much." I turned, but no one was there. I swear to you, no one. Then my vision went black. I woke up in daylight, facing the dirt, the sun high above. My truck was back on the main road, keys in the ignition, cargo untouched, but no shrine, no dirt track, no broken trees. I asked the locals in Gulu if there were any rituals or ceremonies that matched what I saw. Most avoided the question. One old man, a mechanic, told me quietly, "That land belongs to the Nabwiso. They don't want outsiders. If you found them, they let you." "What do they do?" I asked. He looked away. "They don't speak to the dead. They speak through the dead." That night, I checked the inside of my cab again. There, beneath the dashboard, stuffed into a crack, was something wrapped in banana leaf. Inside, a feather, a tooth, and a scrap of paper that read, in shaky English, "You are marked." I left trucking 6 months later. Haven't driven that road since. But every year, around the same date, I find muddy footprints leading up to my front door. No tire tracks, no calls, just footprints. And every time, they stop at the step, facing inward, waiting.